Many separated fathers are claiming that changes to the Family Law Act, passed by the Senate this week, make it harder for them to share custody of their children. The amendments roll back the shared care policy of the Howard government, which tried to ensure that both parents had access to children after a divorce or separation. It comes against the background of a case in Queensland where a father has been banned from having any contact with his 5-year-old daughter until she reaches 18, because the family court decided that the mother would destroy the relationship between herself and the girl rather than agree to shared care. Warwick Marsh is from the Fatherhood Foundation and he joins me now. Good to see you, Warwick. Thanks for coming in. What do these changes to family law mean for fathers?
Well, very sadly, Ros, they are a wind back of shared parenting. It's not written into the law as such, but in effect, because they've taken out any fault for false charges. So in other words, if you make a false charge in court, it can be, it's not actually, there's no responsibility taken for that. And the family parent-friendly provision has been taken out, which is very, very sad because it's a very wise provision. It was onus on the parents to actually try to work together, and what's wrong with that? And of course, family violence is now anything you want it to mean. In other words, if I raise my voice here at the studio at you, Ros, you could say, Warwick, you're violent, and you get taken off and locked up just on that situation. So, I mean, it's a very, very sad situation.
Often, though, when parents separate, it's the father who has control of the finances, and with that comes an awful lot of power. Isn't it right to try and redress the balance?
Well, I think, Bettina Arndt says no gender has a monopoly on vice, and I think unfortunately both sexes manipulate situations. And this is a very sad case because here the judges have ruled that child can have nothing to do with that father till she's 18 years of age, which is effectively making that child fatherless. And fatherless children have got enormous challenges out there.
And the court is effectively saying that the relationship between the child and its mother is more important than the relationship with its father. And that's very difficult to fight from a father's point of view.
Correct. And I mean, the other reality is that 4 out of 5 suicides in Australia today are men, and we've got an epidemic of suicide amongst men, and many of those men are separated men, and they're grief-stricken about situations like this, where the court is acting as if God, and of course it takes a mother and father to produce a child, and now they're actually saying, well, let's just disband that theory and we'll just make up a new one.
Now, this issue was famously highlighted by the man, Michael Fox, I think his name was, who climbed Sydney Harbour Bridge in May of this year to highlight this whole issue. Are you aware of many other cases like this one in Queensland?
Look, unfortunately, Ros, there's many cases like this. I'm aware of a father that was actually put in jail in Victoria, and they're put in jail for sending a birthday card to his child. A very similar situation, probably to this, in the sense that the court had said, no contact, but there was some limited contact, and he'd sent a card to his child, and he was put in jail. I mean, these things are happening. They have been happening these last 3 or 4 years with the very mild changes of 2006. In effect, the 2006 changes have been rolled back by a very, very antagonistic Labor Greens government. They're very antagonistic to marriage and family and fathers, and it's just very, very sad.
Warwick Marsh, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.